Good afternoon, students. So we'll start with organizational design and we'll see what are the contemporary designs of organization. So we have come so far with traditional designs, but nowadays with the changes in technology, lot of new things are coming up. As in the previous classes, I have been telling you regarding the artificial intelligence, machine learning, lot of things we have discussed, and now there is a rapid changes all over the world in technology. So those traditional designs which we discussed already, those traditional designs we can take the whatever the knowledge we gain from those traditional design, but we cannot implement traditional design in the organization because organization is becoming diversified hugely. So new talents are coming into the organization, and the course curriculum in universities, the course curriculum in different technical institutes, management institutes, those are changing rapidly. So the new generation which is coming is those students are having abundance of knowledge. They know everything, and with such surge of knowledge, we cannot implement the traditional organizational design into our companies. So, the main focus should be as much as knowledge we can get from traditional organizational design, and we have to implement those knowledge in the companies, and we modify the organization's design accordingly, and those are called contemporary organizational design. So before moving ahead with the slides, so first let me tell you what is the difference between traditional organization design and contemporary organizational design. Traditional organization design is static, it is rigid, but contemporary organizational design is flexible. Traditional is less adaptive to change, but contemporary organization design is more adaptive to change. So we see the adaptation from the environment is more in the contemporary organization design rather than in traditional. As rigidity is one of the feature in traditional organization design, the structure is top. The command is from top to bottom. It is authoritative, more authoritative. But in contemporary, we see the structure is more flat structure, and employees own the work, what they do or how what they perform at workplace, they own their performance in contemporary design. Then delegation of authority is not there in traditional design, but in contemporary design there is delegation of authority, empowering the employees with authority. And the contemporary design is also democratic in nature, whereas traditional is autocratic in nature. So now you see the different features of organization structure and design, how they are different in contemporary design, contemporary organization design. So now we see the difference. Now, taking some knowledge from traditional organizational design, we will move ahead with contemporary organization designs, because we have to adapt to contemporary organization design in the new era. And we cannot go for traditional organization design where there is lot of rigidity, autocratic, chain of command is very autocratic. The authority is kept in two three key people of the organization, and it is a tall structure. The employees are not they are not empowered with any kind of ownness in the organization, so that we cannot implement in today's organization if we have to be in the market, if we have to compete with our competitors. So let us see what is contemporary organization design. So contemporary organization design means which is acceptable in our new generation organizations, which are fit to the new organizations, which are fit to the today's era's organization. So those organization designs are called contemporary organization design. So today's organizations are more fluid and adaptive than ever, and the nature of work has also changed. So how the nature of work has changed? Now one person has to do two, three types of jobs at a time. So because that is the call of the company, that is the call of today's era. So experts call this new style of organization as contemporary organization design. This kind of organization is designed to be more responsive to the rapid change and challenges internally as well as externally. So what we see in contemporary organization designs, the one employee has to take in charge of different kinds of jobs, because that is the requirement. If someone is not expert in different two three types of skills, then like for example in any organization, suppose one person who is working as the HR manager, he doesn't have any knowledge regarding the marketing of the products, or he doesn't have any knowledge regarding the IT section or accounts or finance of that particular organization, then that employee will be confined to one department only. So the organization also doesn't want such kind of employees who do not have knowledge about two to three kinds of jobs at a time. So here what happens, the organization design would be such that it should be befitting for the current situation and current environment, because the outside environment is always changing. There is lot of competition outside. Your competitors will be they have their own competitive advantage, and they always change their organization, design their organization as per the requirement of the market. So that is called organization redesign and organization re-engineering. So as those companies are changing their organization design very fast, your organization should be at par with other companies. So for which every employee should have different types of knowledges, and for which the employees can cope up with the rapid change which is happening inside and outside the organization. It's a type of business design that emphasizes speed, flexibility, and customer responsiveness. So here I'll give you one example. That, like for example, there is some complaint from the customer side. As the organization, suppose the organization is producing any product, and there are a lot of complaints from the customer side, the organization should design itself such that immediately action can be taken to rectify that complaint instantly, and there should be speed in decision making, there should be flexibility in decision making, and it should be very fast to respond to the customers, right? Otherwise the customers who are there, they will be dissatisfied and leave the product ultimately. What will happen? They will switch to another product. So, contemporary organization design allows the organization for this speed and flexible and customer responsive organization. So, it is often seen in organizations that operate in fast paced industries or in companies that are constantly innovating. So, in contemporary organization design, there is constant innovation. They, whatever product they are producing, they will be modifying the product constantly, putting some innovation, some kind of innovation into that product. Maybe there will be some change in the packaging, maybe there will be some change in the product designing, some change in the product itself. So whatever, there would be putting a constant innovation in the product and service. Business invest in organization design because it allows them to compete better against large corporation by being more agile and flexible. So organization, if it is contemporary design is there, then the organization is more flexible and more agile. Now let us see what are the common characteristics of contemporary organization design. As we know, contemporary organization design allows the company to be more flexible. So the first characteristic is it focuses on customer needs. As per the need of the customer, there would be changes instantly. As per the complaint of the customer, there would be changes instantly. So organization design should not be rigid, should not be static in today's era, so that customers' needs cannot be taken care of. The customers, if they need something better, there should be immediate decision making and immediate change. That is one characteristic. Another characteristic is it is a flat hierarchy. There should not be any tall hierarchy in contemporary organization design, because if the decision making will wait for the tall hierarchy, then decision making will be delayed. So, delayed decision making means no decision making. So as we say in law, delayed decision taken for any case is no decision taken. That's likewise here also in organization, there has to be a flat hierarchy where quick decision can be taken. Then decentralization of authority. So there must be decentralization of power and authority. If the power and authority is in a flat structure and very few people are having those power and authority, then it becomes very difficult to take the decision, and the speed decision making process is also it goes very slowly. So if when decision making process is slow, then the output is also slow. So there has to be decentralization of power and authority, so that quickly anything can be done, quickly there can be adaptiveness, quickly there can be some changes put into the regular work process. Then another characteristic is an emphasis on team-based work. So in contemporary organization design, emphasis is given on team-based work. Individualism is avoided here, and teamwork is always welcome in contemporary design. So why teamwork is welcomed in contemporary design? Because a team works better than any individual. So if power, authority, and the complete work is centralized to one person, then that person would be would have monopoly in doing the work. So if it is decentralized and it is a team effort, the work will be very quick and the result will also be very quick. So contemporary design believes in emphasis on team based work. Let us see what are the advantages of contemporary organization design. They help in organization be more agile and adapt to change more quickly. So the first advantage is it adapts to new changes very quickly. Like for example, if there is any new technology to be adapted in the organization, so contemporary organization design welcomes the change and implements that change in the organization very quickly. They also improve communication and collaboration between employees. So, contemporary design always initiates and improves organization communication as well as collaboration between the employees. Remember, if there is less communication and less collaboration between the employees, then organization may not be that effective. The more communication, the more collaboration with each other will lead to a successful organizational effectiveness. Then this type of organization designs lead to increased innovation and creativity within an organization, which is very obvious. If the organization empowers the employees, then employees take the charge of the organization and they put their creativity and innovation in the organization in whatever they do. The whatever work they were previously doing, they continue with the same type of work but with a little more creativity put added into that. So contemporary organization design being flexible in nature, it allows innovation and creativity in an organization. Contemporary organization designs can help create a more positive environment overall. So if there is good communication between different employees of the organization, if the collaboration is good, if there is team building, it is very obvious that it leads to a positive working environment. Positive working environment is conducive working environment where employees feel happy to work because the environment is created in such a way that there would be communication and more team building and more interpersonal relationship which is established between the employees. It leads to positive working culture. Then contemporary design provides clear indication of how and where work needs to happen, which can lead to higher levels of productivity and employee engagement. So contemporary design is one thing which also allows the employees to know how the work will be done. They talk to each other, they communicate with each other, they collaborate with each other, and they find out a way how to solve a problem and where to work needs to happen, where the work needs to happen, which can lead to higher level of productivity. Another thing here is written employee engagement. Employee engagement means how the employee is engaged at the workplace. There are engaged employees and disengaged employees. Some employees are not engaged in the workplace also. They just come to the workplace and by after 8 hours they leave the workplace without any productivity. So how the employees could be engaged at workplace? The contemporary design provides a clear path for that, how best employees can be engaged in a particular organization. Then there are also disadvantages of contemporary organization design. So these designs are very complex, making difficult to understand and implement. Why it is complex? Because it has to be adaptive to the outside work environment as well as inside work environment. Unless someone understands what is happening around, how the competitors are doing, what the competitors are doing, where are the competitors stand, then it is very difficult to implement change and make a traditional organization design convert into contemporary organization design. So here what happens, it is a complex thing and every organization needs to understand before implementing contemporary organization design. It requires a high degree of coordination and communication which can be challenging. So communication between whom? Between the employees, between different uh, hierarchies, between the highest authority to the lowest authority, there has to be proper communication between the employees as well as proper coordination between the employees. Otherwise, it would be a chaos to implement the contemporary organization design. Also, they require a good governance and good leadership. So, what is good governance? Good governance is something which governs the organization in an effective way. So, good governance and good leadership is required for implementing organization design. If the leader who is implementing or the number of leaders who are implementing organization design, they are not so effective, then the organization design which would be made contemporary as per the requirement of the outside world may fail. May not always result in most efficient use of resources and if not managed well can lead to an increase in cost and duplication of work. Contemporary organization design may not always result in a efficient use of whatever raw materials are there or employee resources or any kind of infrastructure, because if it has to adapt to the new technology, adapt to the new changes in the political scenario, adapt to anything change in the legal system, anything change in the whatever outside, whatever happening in the outside environment, then there may not be proper utilization of the resources available. So there the cost may increase and there may be duplication of work. So it has to be managed very properly if the organization is going to change the design from traditional to contemporary. So different people might have differing opinions about what constitutes good design, leading to disagreement about how an organization should be structured. So different behavioral scientists, they have given their views on contemporary redesigning, contemporary re-engineering, all those, so which are to be taken care of very carefully and meticulously. Now we see what are the types of contemporary organization design. The first is matrix structure. We have already discussed matrix structure, matrix organization structure and matrix organization design. So, why that matrix structure is called contemporary, let us discuss. Matrix designs are created in response to uncertainty and dynamism of the environment. So, what is a matrix design? In matrix design, what happens? One person has to report to two bosses. So, here the role and goal of one person varies. As I said in the beginning, one person has to do many types of roles at a time. So, in matrix structure, one person has to report to, maybe for example, maybe to the marketing division as well as to the production division as well as to the IT division. So there is one person has to multi-talented, multi-skilled. So it is the need of the hour. If one employee doesn't cope up with this, then that employee doesn't have a good future. Or the many of the organizations do not need such kind of employees because someone has to be multi-talented uh, as the current situation is demanding that. So automatically matrix design comes in the picture. If someone is reporting to production manager and IT manager and marketing manager, then matrix structure is coming here. So the matrix structure as opposed to product departments may increase communication and cooperation among departments because project managers will need to coordinate their actions. So what happens? Project managers also interfere in the product department and project manager also interferes in the marketing department as there is a crisscross of different roles of all the employees. So research shows that matrix structure increases the frequency of informal and formal communication within the organization. So one person is not necessarily report to one boss only. The same person may report to 2-3 bosses at a time. So the role of that person is crisscross. Sometimes he reports to one department, sometimes he reports to another department, sometimes he reports to any other department. So that is, and for which there has to be formal as well as informal communication, which increases with day-to-day activities. Matrix structures also have the benefit of providing quick response to technical problems and customer demands. So matrix structure, as I said, one person can play the role of different roles in one position. He has to play different roles. The existence of a project manager keeps the focus on the product or service provided. So project manager may also interfere into the work of product or service if required. So here is a graphical representation of matrix structure. You can see here the CEO is the top, then business analyst manager, product development manager, quality assurance manager, then product one manager. Suppose the company is producing many products at a time, there is a product line. Product 1 manager, product 2 manager, product 3 manager. And the business analyst is reporting to product manager, product one manager and business analyst manager both. Another business analyst may report to business analyst manager and product 2 manager as well. So like this is a graphical representation of matrix structure. So matrix structure is used in many IT companies engaged in software development. So why this matrix structure we are adopting in IT sector? Because IT companies or IT consultants, they work on, the employees work on project basis. So one employee, he has to work with the team as well as he will report to the project manager. He will report to team head and project manager. So here there will be a different, one person has to play both roles. Another example is given here. The sportswear manufacturer Nike is another company that is using matrix organization. How? Any new product development or any new product introduction in the organization, the task is shared by regional managers as well as product managers. So people also report, the employees report to regional managers as well as product managers. While product managers are in charge of deciding how to launch a product, regional managers are allowed to make modifications based on the reason. So one person has to report to both. So this is a good example of matrix organization. Then another contemporary organization design is boundaryless organizations. There are various types of boundaryless organizations which we'll discuss here. One is modular organization. So what is a modular organization? Here, the non-essential functions are outsourced to other agencies and the core functions are kept inside the organization. The idea behind this format is to retain only value generated and strategic functions inside the organization, and the rest of the operations are outsourced to outside agencies. So one example is also given here, Toyota. So by managing relationship with hundreds of suppliers, Toyota achieves efficiency and quality in its operations. So what happens in modular organizations? Some core functions in many organizations it is happening. Some core functions are handled in day-to-day basis inside the organization, and most of the functions are outsourced to outside agencies. So that is the reason it is called boundaryless organization. That means organization functions are done inside as well as outside the organization. Some third party is doing work on behalf of your company. Some third party is taking care of 50% of your company's operation. So that is called modular organization. Then strategic alliance is another boundaryless organization. So what is strategic alliance? Here what happens, two similar companies, maybe they are two competitors, they come together and they share work. So that is called strategic alliance. It is another kind of boundaryless design. Here what happens, it is a joint venture between two similar companies. They find an area of collaboration and combine their efforts to create a partnership that is beneficial for both parties. In this process, traditional boundaries between two competitors are broken and they divide the work among themselves. So, a very beautiful example is given here. Starbucks formed a highly successful partnership with PepsiCo to market its Frappuccino cold drinks. So, for marketing the Frappuccino cold drinks, Starbucks also did the marketing of PepsiCo. PepsiCo introduced this type of cold drink, a new kind of cold drinks, but the marketing is done by Starbucks. So that is strategic alliance. So here what happens, the feeling of the competition is minimized and the cost is also taken care of here. So two companies, they come together for their own benefit and there is a strategic alliance between them. This is also an example of contemporary organization design. So what are the advantages of boundaryless organizations? It eliminates the barriers separating employees. And these kind of barriers may be physical barriers or maybe virtual barriers. So when two companies come together, there is no barrier, may it be one or physical barrier or may it be virtual. Structures such as self-managing teams create an environment where employees coordinate their efforts and change their own roles to suit the demands of the situation. That means the organization's redesigning can be done as per the employee's requirement. If they want to change something during their working process, then during their working process, they can take the charge of changing the working environment. Then the third type of contemporary organization is learning organization. So, what is a learning organization? First, let us discuss. Learning organization is one whose design actively seeks to acquire knowledge and change behavior as a result of the newly acquired knowledge. So, learning organization is something which always learns from the outside, gains knowledge from the outside, and learning organizations employees, they always learn from outside, they gain knowledge. So in learning organization, always experiments happen. There is a lot of research and development in learning organization. Learning new things and reflecting on new knowledge are the part of learning organization. And at the same time, there are many procedures and systems that facilitate learning at all organization levels. So learning organization means who is learning? Obviously employees are learning. The employees are gaining new knowledge. So R&D becomes active in learning organization. So if anything new is developed by R&D division, then that has to be implemented. So organization has to be flexible to implement that change. New things come up during the experimentation, during the R&D, and those are reflected in the organization design. Unless the organization is flexible, unless the organization is a contemporary organization, it cannot adapt to the new experiments and the new R&D outcomes. In learning organizations, experimentation and testing potentially better operational methods are encouraged. So, what is the need of R&D and what is the need of experimentation? It is for the betterment of the organization, betterment of products and services. So for which lot of R&D is done in every organization. So the potential to become better in operations, this learning organization always learns. It is this is true not only in response to environmental threats but also as a way of identifying future opportunities. Not only to rectify the whatever has already happened, but experiments are done for future opportunities. So here a very good example. 3M is one company that institutionalized experimenting with new ideas in the form of allowing each engineer to spend 1 day a week working on a personal project. So what 3M has done, 3M has allowed its engineers to work on personal projects which most of the companies do not allow. So on every week, they spend 1 day for their personal project. So by which they experiment in their personal project and whatever best outcomes comes out, they implement in the learning organization. So this is a beautiful example of learning organization. Learning organizations are very good at learning from past experience. Maybe their own past experience or any competitor's past experience. They learn from past mistakes. Companies conduct a thorough analysis of them. Suppose something bad has happened in the organization, they do the analysis. Why this has happened? What went wrong? Where did the company did a mistake? So the learning organizations do lot of research on their own mistake as well as the competitors' mistake also. And they also do a lot of research on the competitors' competitive advantage. Why the competitors are better than them? One. Second, what best they can implement that they can be better from their competitors. So here learning organization is another type of contemporary organization design. The changing environment of organization create the need for newer forms of organizing. So what we studied so far, we studied matrix organization, boundaryless organization, learning organization. Another type of contemporary organization design which you all are aware of is platform organization. So what is a platform organization? Platform organization is something where different companies come together and they sell their product. The best example is Amazon, Flipkart, like this. So what happens? It's a platform given to different companies to sell their products. So this is a new contemporary organization design which is very popular nowadays. So what happens in traditional organization design? The functional, there are divisional, functional, multidivisional, product and production departments are there, and there are various types of structures and departments. The team structure is also always it is a contemporary organization design. So contemporary organization design leads to virtual organization design. So during COVID, we have seen virtual organization. So what is a virtual organization? Work from home. One is work from home or work from you have seen the students, they were doing classes on virtual mode. The teachers, they were teaching on virtual mode. So that is also a contemporary organization design where the employees work from home and the organization operates without infrastructure. That is a new contemporary organization design which comes up during the COVID-19. So here what happens, there is team structure. Here works the team structure. There has to be a team leader who takes account of the people who are working from home. So unless there is a team leader who is there to manage all the people who are working from home, that it becomes very difficult to manage those employees. So that is another contemporary design. So team structure, we can say a contemporary design. Virtual working platform is a contemporary design. And the platforms, the selling platforms, like for example, Amazon and Flipkart. So what happens, organizations are now selling their products on a virtual platform. Online platform, virtual platform. So here also comes the question of the knowledge contemporary, knowledge based contemporary organization design. So what is knowledge based contemporary design? That is something which helps you to sell your product. Like you take the help of different knowledge based, like for example ChatGPT. The other day in the other class I was giving you the example of ChatGPT. So nowadays whatever question you ask to ChatGPT is, it gives you the reply. So ChatGPT also helps in selling your product, helps you manage your organization, helps also to manage your employees of the organization. So that is knowledge based contemporary design. So this is a new contemporary design which has come, and that is implementation of knowledge in your organization. Then another type of contemporary design which we have seen these days, like for example, we take the help of the online platforms like to sell our products. Like for example, we take the help of YouTube, if we take the help of Instagram, Facebook. These are some of the online platforms where the companies, they sell their products. So the influencer, we call them online influencers. So how it works, sometimes the YouTube, like the maximum views one person gets, or any YouTuber gets maximum views, he is considered to be a influencer for the customers. So if that person advertises your product, then it is believed that your customer base will increase. So taking the help of the YouTubers or influencers on Facebook, on Instagram, this is another kind of something new which is implemented in the organization. So that is also contemporary organization design. So implementing or taking the help of YouTube or influencer or online influencers, that is also a part of contemporary organization design. So, like for example, another example here, where many companies take the help of celebrities. So here in online platform also they take the help of the influencers. So they also influencers also help to sell the product. The change, and let us come to the changing environment of organizations create need for newer forms of organizing. So what are the newer forms of organizing? I just discussed the virtual platform, the online platforms, the taking the help of influencers, and knowledge, taking the help of knowledge, AI knowledge, artificial intelligence. That is, if you use chat gpt in your organization, that is a AI knowledge which you are implementing in your organization. These are some of the examples, newer forms of organizing. Then matrix structures are a cross between functional and product based divisional structure. So as we discussed in the traditional structure and design, matrix structure, it is a cross function between product based and divisional structure. Functional structure and product based divisional structure. So they facilitate information flow and reduce response time to customers, but have challenges because each employee reports to multiple managers. But it is required in contemporary organization design. It has a conflicting role play. Matrix structure definitely has a conflicting role playing, but the benefits are more. Matrix structure is a contemporary organization structure which demands one employee must have different skills and one employee must report to different bosses. So, this matrix structure is taken as traditional as well as contemporary organization structure. One person has to report to different managers, where the information flow is very fast because the information is not kept within one employee and one boss. Information is given to different bosses. So it facilitates information flow, and it reduces also the response time. As there are many bosses listening to one employee, it also reduces the response time where decision making becomes very fast. Then boundaryless organizations blur the boundaries between departments or boundaries between the organizations and others in the environment. So in boundaryless organization, what we discussed, modular organization and strategic alliance. What happens here? There is no boundary between departments as well as there is no boundary between different competitors. So there is a common strategy followed by competitors so that the cost becomes less and the benefit becomes more. Both the companies, they get benefit, but at one cost. Like at one expense, both the companies get the same benefits. So these organizations may take the form of a modular organization or strategic alliance or self-managing team. So already we have discussed what is a modular organization and what is a strategic alliance. What is self-managing team? Self-managing team is where the team which is working, it modifies as per its requirement. If suppose there is a requirement from the outside environment that the work process should be different, the self-managing team, it changes its working style for giving the best output as per the environment requirement. So what is environment requirement? Customers demand. What is, and as per the customers demand, the modification can be changed, rearranged by the self-managing teams. So boundaryless organizations blur the boundaries between the departments. That means there is no boundary between different departments, or sometimes with the competitors also they do not have any boundary. So learning organizations institutionalize experimentation and benchmarking. So learning organization always goes for R&D, research and development and experimentation. And they have certain benchmarking to reach at the top. So why do learning organizations do benchmarking? Because they want a competitive advantage from the other competitors. Their USP must be different from the other competitors' USP, for which they do the benchmarking of their own target and goals. So learning organization always focus on development, experimentation, research, and benchmarking. Benchmarking is very important for a learning organization, because without benchmarking, they cannot sustain in the market in a better competitive advantage position. So these are some of the contemporary organization design which we discussed. Thank you very much for this session.